Baby, listen to me carefully. If you roll into 2026 thinking your regular driver's license is enough for everything, I don't want you to get caught by surprise. Auntie Grace is warning you right now. A whole lot of folks are going to run smack into trouble because they did not take this real ID business seriously. They're going to get to the airport, get to a federal building, pull out that little old license they've been carrying for years, and find out it does not work the way they thought it did. And let me say this plain, honey, because people online love to twist things up and make everybody panic. For most people, the Real ID rule by itself does not mean the government is automatically taking away your right to drive just because you didn't upgrade. What it does mean is that your regular license may no longer work for certain federal purposes, like boarding domestic flights or entering some secure federal buildings. And if your license is already expired, or you've been putting off renewal, or your paperwork is a mess, then yes, sweetie, you can end up in a whole bigger problem than you planned for. So take a breath with me. Because this is not the kind of thing you fix 5 minutes before a trip. This is not the kind of thing you want to handle while standing in a long DMV line, sweating, mad, hungry, and blaming everybody but yourself. Not today. In this video, I'm going to break down what the Real ID rule really is, who needs to act, what documents you need, the mistakes people keep making, and exactly what you need to do so you can handle this calmly, correctly, and without drama. Now, let's make this simple. A Real ID is just a driver's license or state ID that meets stronger federal security rules. That's it. It usually has a little star on the card up in the top corner. If your card has that star, chances are you're already set. If it does not have that star, you need to pay attention. The federal government passed this rule years ago, but enforcement got pushed back and delayed again. Well, baby, that waiting season is over. Federal enforcement began on May 7th, 2025. So here in 2026, this is no longer some someday problem. This is already in effect. If you are age 18 or older and you want to board a domestic flight or enter certain federal facilities, you need a Real ID or another acceptable form of identification, like a passport. Now, here's the part people keep getting wrong. A non-Real ID license does not mean you suddenly can't drive to the grocery store. It does not mean your regular card becomes useless for every purpose in life. The rule mainly affects what the federal government will accept for what they call official purposes. That means things like flying within the United States, entering certain secure federal buildings, and certain other federal access points. It does not affect every single everyday use of your license. So if somebody told you, girl, if you don't get a Real ID, your license is suspended and you can't drive nowhere, that is not the full truth. And Auntie Grace does not play with half-truths. The real issue is this. If you show up with the wrong kind of ID in 2026, you may be denied boarding for a domestic flight, unless you have another acceptable ID or go through extra TSA identity verification. And starting in 2026, TSA says travelers without acceptable ID may have the option to pay a $45 fee for TSA Confirm ID, so TSA can attempt to verify their identity. But baby, why put yourself through that if you can just get right ahead of the problem now? So who needs to take action? First of all, anybody over 18 who plans to fly within the United States and wants to use a state-issued license or ID at the airport. If that is you, check your card. Don't guess, don't assume, check it. Second, Seniors, yes, my seasoned, beautiful, wise people, especially seniors who have had the same license for years and years and years. Some of y'all have that card in your wallet so long it practically has family memories attached to it. But honey, if it doesn't have that star and you plan to fly, you need to handle it. I don't want you finding this out when you're trying to go see your grandchildren, go on a church trip, or take that little vacation you finally decided to enjoy. Third, people whose licenses are expired or close to expiring, because now you've got two things going on, your regular renewal issue and your ID compliance issue. That is how folks end up overwhelmed. TSA says it may accept expired IDs up to 2 years after expiration for certain checkpoint purposes, but that does not mean your expired license is something you should keep playing around with. Don't build your life on technical loopholes, sweetie. Get it fixed properly. Fourth, people who moved, changed their name, got married, got divorced, or have documents that don't match. If your birth certificate says one thing, your social security record says another, and your current utility bill says something else, you need to straighten that out before you march into the DMV acting shocked. And fifth, people who never upgraded because they thought, oh, I'll do it later. Later has arrived, honey. Later is sitting in your lap drinking your coffee. Now, let Auntie Grace walk you through this nice and easy. Step 1. Check your current license or state ID. Look in the upper corner. Does it have a star? In some states, it may look a little different, but generally there is a star or marking that tells you it is Real ID compliant. If it has the star, wonderful. Take another breath with me. You may already be fine. If it does not, keep listening. Step 2. Decide whether you actually need a Real ID. If you already use a valid passport for domestic flights, you technically may not need a Real ID. USA.gov says you can still fly with a passport or another TSA-accepted form of ID. You can also still get a non-Real ID license in many places, but if you want the convenience of using your driver's license at the airport, then yes, baby, you need that Real ID. Step 3. Go to your state DMV or licensing agency website. Not your cousin's Facebook page, not your barber's opinion, not somebody in the comment section yelling in all caps. Go to your actual state motor vehicle website and look up Real ID requirements for your state. The federal government gives general rules, but your state decides the exact process and the exact list of acceptable paperwork. Step 4. Gather your documents. In most cases, you will need proof of identity, proof of your social security number, and proof of where you live. Let me say that again slowly, because this is where people mess up. You usually need one document proving who you are, like a certified birth certificate or valid U.S. passport. One document showing your social security number, like your social security card, a W-2, or pay stub. And usually 2 documents proving your address, like a utility bill, bank statement, lease agreement, mortgage statement, or similar documents with your name and current address on them. If your name changed, you may also need legal name change documents, like a marriage certificate, divorce decree, or court order. That little detail right there trips up a lot of people. Step 5. Make the appointment. Some states let you start online, upload information, or create a checklist before you go in, but many first-time Real ID applications still require an in-person visit, so make the appointment early, not the week before your trip, not after you already bought a non-refundable plane ticket. Early, sweetie. Step 6. Go in person and finish the process. Bring every single document they told you to bring, originals or certified copies when required. Not blurry phone pictures, not "I know it's somewhere in my email." Bring your papers like a grown-up. Step 7. Don't wait for some mysterious 2026 deadline in your head. The key federal enforcement date was May 7th, 2025. By 2026, the rule is already active. So the real deadline for you is simple. Before your next flight, before your next federal building visit, and before your current license situation becomes a bigger mess. Now, take a breath with me. This is fixable. This is not a reason to panic. This is a reason to prepare. Here's Auntie Grace's advice. Pick one day this week and handle the first step. That's it. Maybe that first step is checking your card for the star. Maybe it's going online to your state DMV website. Maybe it's finding your birth certificate. Maybe it's ordering a certified copy because Lord knows yours has been missing since the Clinton administration. Do one thing. Then do the next thing. Put your documents in a folder. Write yourself a list. If you're helping your parents, your auntie, your spouse, or your grown child who still can't keep up with paperwork, sit them down and go through it together. And please, honey, if your name changed, start there. If your address changed, update things. If your license is expiring soon, handle renewal and real ID planning together so you are not making two separate headaches out of one task. If you are a senior and online forms stress you out, ask a trusted family member to help, but don't hand the whole thing over and forget about it. Stay involved. Know what's being submitted in your name. And if you already have a real ID, keep it in a safe place and make sure it is current. That can be your backup accepted ID for flying, even if you don't have a real ID. See? We are not helpless. We are organized. That's how grown folks move. So let Auntie Grace wrap this up for you nice and clear. In 2026, the Real ID rule is already real, already active, and already affecting travelers. If your license does not have that Real ID marking, do not assume you're fine. Check it, verify it, fix it if needed. And if you plan to fly, visit certain federal facilities, or just want peace of mind, get ahead of this now. I don't want you to get caught by surprise. I don't want you embarrassed at the airport. I don't want you wasting money, missing flights, or fussing at strangers because you didn't prepare. Auntie Grace is warning you out of love. Handle your business, honey, and then go on with your life in peace. If you already have your real ID, go on down in the comments and say, I got mine, Auntie Grace. If you still need to get yours, say, I'm doing it this week. Let's help each other stay ready. And baby, if this video helped you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with your family, your church group, your neighbors, and especially that one relative who waits until the last minute for everything. Yes, that one. You know exactly who I mean. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I want you prepared, protected, and not running around in a panic over something you could have handled today. Now, take a breath with me one more time. You've got this, sweetie. And Auntie Grace will see you in the next video.